Who has the best big three in the NBA? Most teams in the NBA have moved away from the old big three style of roster construction. And with the second apron in this new CBA, it's likely to become completely extinct sometime very, very soon. So I thought it'd be fun to go through every team and rank their big three 1 through 30. And I don't know what was harder, ranking them or trying to pick a big three on most of these teams. Like, subscribe, and let's do it. Starting with number 30, it's the Brooklyn Nets with Nick Claxton, Cam Thomas, and Dennis Schroeder? I almost put Cam Johnson there, but when I looked at the numbers, Schroeder was more important than he ever should have been once he got there. But regardless, this isn't a big three. It's a bottom three. At 29, I've got the Washington Wizards with Kyle Kuzma, Jonas Valanciunas, and Jordan Poole. I don't know why Valanciunas wanted to come to this team, but he immediately becomes a top talent on it. The talent just isn't high. At 28, give me the Charlotte Hornets with LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, and Miles Bridges. Trying to find a big three on Charlotte was truly the inspiration for this exercise. You got a guy who's only played like half the games so far in his career, but looks absolutely electric when he does. You've got a rookie who actually looks like a great pick, surrounded by garbage. And as hard as I tried not to put the toxic Miles Bridges in this, there literally wasn't like any other option. At 27, I'm going with Portland, Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, and DeAndre Ayton. Putting Domin Ayton in a big anything should tell you exactly where things stand right now in Portland, and that the two young guys that they're building their future around aren't in it. It's not great. At 26, the Chicago Bulls, Kobe White, Zach LaVine, and Josh Giddey. When you've been trying to get rid of a guy for 2 years, but nobody will take him, and he's still in your big three, your optimism should be very, very low. But hey, at least it sort of looks like rebuilding, finally, in Chicago. Maybe a couple years late. By the way, someone in the comments is going to say Lonzo Ball, he hasn't played basketball in 2 years. Let's get him on the floor again, and then we'll worry about where he falls in the hierarchy of whatever is happening with the Bulls. At 25, give me the Detroit Pistons, Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, and Tobias Harris. Did you realize that Tobias Harris is now a Piston? Again? Well, he is. And the fact that a team who just set the all-time losing streak record has a big three better than anybody else says a lot about the death of the big three, but also how poorly everything has been built around Cade Cunningham. Because if you just started with Cade and even Jaden Ivey, you have reason for optimism in Detroit. Adding a guy like Tobias Harris is a clear talent upgrade. And at least it's not a highly drafted center that other teams have already given up on. At 24, the Toronto Raptors, Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett. And hey, look, a real team-ish, just maybe not a real big three, because Scotty Barnes is the guy, and everything else seems to be subject to change at any time around him. And that includes Quickley and Barrett. But for now, it's the former Knicks that's at least a group of three good NBA players. They just aren't the top options on any good teams. For 23, I'm going with the Utah Jazz with Lauri Markkanen, Colin Sexton, and John Collins. And my luck, by the time you watch this, Lauri Markkanen will be gone. And the new big three of Colin Sexton, John Collins, and whatever dude was just playing in Summer League will be battling for the bottom supremacy on this list. But for now, Lauri is a floor raiser. Sexton was a hidden gem in Utah last year. And John Collins, despite the trade rumors that have surrounded him, like always, is still good at basketball. They play different positions, and they somewhat resemble a cohesive big three. At 22, I'm going to the Houston Rockets, Alperen Şengün, Fred VanVleet, and Jalen Green. There's a lot of upward mobility here for Houston. They've got so many young guys that not only could they move way up this list by next year, the three guys on that list could be completely different. But for right now, Şengün and Green both still have some growing to do to move them up this list. At 21, give me the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, and Bogdan Bogdanović. I've got so many questions. Will Trae Young be a bona fide all-star again with Murray gone? Is the Jalen Johnson leap real? Is there any more growth that is available there? And what is the direction of this team? Will Bogey and DeAndre Hunter even still be on it at the trade deadline? See, lots of questions about Atlanta. Regardless, when the third guy in your big three has mostly come off the bench for you the past couple of years, it's not a very big three. Speaking of big, like really, really big, at 20, I'm going with the San Antonio Spurs with Victor Wembanyama, Chris Paul, and Devin Vassell. Wemby almost drags them higher on this list, but Chris Paul is 39. He's coming off of an injury, and while there's still plenty to like about Vassell's game, he also hasn't been super healthy to start his career and doesn't exactly project as a big three level star in this league. At 19, I'm going with Miami, Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. Butler and Bam is a better duo than adding Hero to make a three. Butler is aging and didn't look like Jimmy Butler last year. Hero played half the season, and I want to give the Heat more respect here, but I can't get there. The needle is just pointing down in Miami. At 18, I'm going with the Orlando Magic with Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Jalen Suggs. There's big upside with this group. Franz and Paolo play the most coveted positions in basketball, and Suggs is knocking on the door of best defending guard in the league. If Franz can find his three-point stroke and the Suggs shooting is real, we could be talking about this group much, much differently next offseason. At 17, it pains me to go with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and Evan Mobley. And it does. It hurts me as a fan. If it was a big four, the Cavs maybe shoot up this list. But it's kind of hard to pinpoint a three that isn't Mitchell and just whoever else is out there. Truthfully, he plays best with Jarrett Allen on the floor. But Garland and Mobley are just more talented than Allen. Garland needs a bounce-back year, though, and Mobley needs to show the offensive growth that we've all been waiting and hoping for to make this a true big three. At 16, it's the Los Angeles Clippers with James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Ivica Zubac, I guess. And this feels weird all around. For name recognition, it's too low. For success, it's too high. Zubac is in a big three now? I don't know what to do with the Clippers, but if we do if he's healthy bit with Kawhi, he's still really, really good. And Harden can still be a high-level offensive player, so I'm just going with somewhere in the middle for now. Speaking of disrespect, at 15, I'm going with the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Dame Lillard, and Chris Middleton. 15 for Giannis, Dame, and Middleton? I know. But Dame was not Dame last year, and Middleton just had surgery on both of his ankles. That dude may never be healthy again, which would bring Brook Lopez to become the next guy in the big three, and he's 36. There's a world where this ages really poorly, but there's also a world where they do. Speaking of aging, at 14, I'm going with the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Jonathan Kuminga. Steph could still be in a legit top-of-the-league big three, but nobody else on the Warriors can say that. At this point, I wish they had just traded for LeBron last year and we could enjoy a couple of seasons of just the graybeard schooling the young guys until they retire, because I just don't love what's happening with the Warriors right now. At 13, I'm going down to New Orleans with Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, and DeJounte Murray. I originally had these guys higher on the list, and then I looked at it again. And the reality is, the best of this three might actually be DeJounte Murray. And if that's true, you're nowhere near this spot on the list. But if Ingram stays in New Orleans and regains his all-star form, and Zion has a healthy season, this should actually be a pretty cohesive and talented threesome. At 12, I'm going with the Sacramento Kings with De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, and DeMar DeRozan. The talent here might be a little better than this, but DeRozan's getting up there in age, and we don't know how this is all going to fit. You can go watch my video about how I think the fit is weird and why I say that, but still, it's a really talented group, and they should be really good, if not great. At 11, it's the Pacers with Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner. An offseason to gel with Siakam. Halliburton, if he can have a fully healthy season and maybe bring some Team USA magic back that happens sometimes after an Olympics, this is a legit 3 that can be a really tough team to beat and a really tough out in the playoffs, as we saw last year when they made the conference finals. At 10, I'm going with the Los Angeles Lakers with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and D'Angelo Russell. I think Team USA is showing us that AD and LeBron are still a monster duo. But I think the biggest problem for the Lakers last year might have been that Austin Reeves wasn't the third star that they expected him to be after their conference finals run. And that can't be the case for the long-term success for the Lakers. At 9, I'm heading out to the desert with the Phoenix Suns. It's Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. The talent is high, higher than this spot on the list. But this group can't stay healthy and has a lot of redundancy. Could they be better than last year? Yep. But I'm not going to do the, well, if they could all just be healthy together thing that we did all year last year. At number 8, I could either be reaching or completely underselling this group out in Memphis. Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Desmond Bane. Do you remember how good this trio was a couple years ago? No? Exactly. The main thing holding them back is Morant's availability. Even his most available seasons, he wouldn't have qualified for awards under the new rules except for his rookie season. If he comes back looking anything like the guy that was second team All-NBA, the other two have only gotten better while he's been on the shelf, and they could be really good. But if he comes back not looking like that guy, I don't know. At 7, give me the Knicks with Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and Julius Randle. I'm not convinced that Randle's going to be on this team, but as long as he is, there's a lot of talent packed into these 3 guys, and in theory, they should fit well together. At 6, I'm going with the Dallas Mavericks with Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and PJ Washington. Cue the comments section telling me that Klay Thompson is the real third guy, and it's possible that he will be. But I think if he is, they might be worse off. I think the defense is just a major concern if it's those 3 guys together. But this 3 with PJ Washington just made a run to the finals. And that doesn't mean that Klay's not going to be important for them on offense, but as far as a big 3 is concerned, I think it's these 3 guys if they're at their best. At 5, I'm going with the Oklahoma City Thunder with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, and Jalen Williams. Chet and J-Dub might be 1 or maybe 2 years from being bona fide big 3 guys that they could be. And if that happens, I mean, this could be top 3 at floor in the league. But for now, they're still young and growing. And it's not about the whole team's success. We're still talking about the 3. So at number 4, I've got the Timberwolves with Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, and Rudy Gobert. It doesn't look like the traditional big 3, but you can't argue with the results so far. They've been really, really good. And I still don't think that I buy into it long term by any means, but right now, it's hard to bet against. At 3, give me Philly with Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey. And this is pretty hypothetical, and I think it's got as good a chance to backfire as almost anything in the NBA. When Paul George comes out and says he thinks he can help Joel Embiid stay healthy, the training staff should be on high alert. In reality, Paul George has been a part of an underachieving duo in LA because they couldn't stay healthy. And he traded it for Joel Embiid, who has never had a healthy playoff run, is coming off an injury, and turning 30. I think he truly might be closer to the end than any of us want to believe. But if it works, there's a bright side to this that could be really, really good. The fit should be absolutely seamless between these 3, and Joel Embiid just won MVP 2 years ago. At 2, I'm going with the defending champs, the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kristaps Porzingis. They just won the title. Porzingis has health concerns, but they just won the title. Leaving me with number 1, and it's the Denver Nuggets, Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, and Aaron Gordon. And this feels crazy. They aren't the star level big three that we imagine as the best in the league. They're not the three biggest names on paper. It's not the traditional type of big three that you imagine in your head when somebody says the words big three. But when these three guys play together, you literally can't stop them. When Jokic sets a screen for Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon is in the dunker spot, there's literally one team in the entire league with the ability to even make things difficult for them because they've just got so many options. They are absolutely lethal. My biggest questions with Denver is the deteriorating supporting cast around them. You can watch the video I did about that next. But these three, if Murray plays, it's the most dangerous group in basketball. All right, let me know in the comments who you think the best big three in the NBA is. And while you're down there, like the video so that YouTube knows it doesn't suck. And subscribe to the channel so you can let me know that you want me to keep making more of them.